Okay, here we are, 353 4th Street. Now, because I went on, let's see, it is a 1977 build listing at 190,000. Okay. So because it is a pre-1978 build, it is highly recommended to get an asbestos inspection, right? I can put it right here. Recommended to have home tested for asbestos. However, buyer considerations can be made if there is proof of asbestos encapsulation. Encapsulation is basically a special paint that covers up asbestos. Personally, I'm a percentage of error kind of guy. If I know that the house falls right within that spectrum of it could have it, I want to know I want proof that encapsulation has happened, or I'm going to do that because I don't want to get sick. I don't want to be exposed. I don't want my family to be exposed to the possibility of asbestos. So unless there is proof that encapsulation or it has been tested or it has been taken care of, even then, part of my inspection, me personally, I'm going to do it. Um, so anyway, let's see here. Probably cut some of that out. Da, 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 da. All right. So it's a 19, what did I say? So it's a 1977 build, four bed, two bath, 1,695 square feet of a 4,115 square foot lot, dot 62. So it's dot 60. All right. Let's see here. Orco piano does not convey. Buyer to verify. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Charming, 1.5 stories. So it's 1.5 stories. So it's going to have, I think, an attic space. Four bed, two bath, heart of downtown Richmond. So that checks the box. Properties full of potential, characteristics, architectural. Well, yeah, it's a night. What did I say? 19, I keep forgetting the year. 1977. It's going to have some architectural benefits to it. Um, Personal touch, customize. Something I always find interesting about, you know, every era has its own architectural uniqueness to it. So if you're looking at a house from the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, there's always some interesting unique feature that you're going to find in a majority of the houses in some capacity. But anyway, moving on. Um, Let's see. What is the foundation? It doesn't list it. It looks like stories type basement. Yes. So it has an unfinished, so it does have a basement. The basement is unfinished. So you're going to walk down there and you're going to see the HVAC and probably the pipes and probably some insulation and foundational structures and solid concrete. You've walked into an unfinished basement before. That's what it's going to have. It comes with the dishwasher, the range, the refrigerator, electric water heater. Let's see, vinyl siding, attic, yes, windows, da 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 da, entry, foyer. Okay, so cool. Let's go ahead and take a look at the pictures. The pictures are always fun. It's always fun to see what the property is going to look like. Show me the pictures. It's Tom Cruise. Show me the money. Ooh, there's the piano. I think it's just, what did they say about the piano again? Don't touch it. Conveyance. I want to know what they said about the piano. I know it's not 1,000% relevant, but it's like if you're going to go in there, you want to know if you can touch it or whatever. People love to touch stuff. Um, I thought they just said, let's see, piano does not convey. So it probably doesn't play. So my thought process would be if I'm showing you this house, honestly, I would recommend just don't touch it. Don't play with it. You know, it probably doesn't play. Convey normally means to play, uh, but I just wouldn't touch it. Let's see. So again, so we're looking in. So this is definitely a distinct. If you've been, if you've been into, what I would normally say is like grandma and grandpa's house. I mean, I've been in one of those. I've seen these types of steps before, the types of moldings around the stairwell banisters. there's certain types of molding that takes place around the door trim. It looks like it's been refinished with LVP, again, luxury vinyl plank. It's actually it could be hardwood too. It could be refinished hardwood, but I'm thinking LVP because the stairs, if you look at the detail here, the stairs haven't been, it doesn't look like the stairs have been touched, and it still has wallpaper from like what looks like the 70s on the st on the stair faces. It's interesting, but that's why I'm being towards this was probably a house that was being rented, right? It was owned and rented or an investment property, and they put LVP all around. So it looks like new appliances, but they've maintained the kitchen. This kind of looks like Formica countertops, and I only know that because I had a property with Formica countertops. It's actually it's good stuff. Yeah, not too much, not too little. So it's actually it's like a step above contractor grade, and I mean it lasts for years, years. Formica can last. I mean, there's a house, which we call it. My dad's house had Formica for a while, and up until he redid all of his counters and all that stuff, it was from the time the house was built. So he had 30 years worth of Formica. All right. So anyway, cabinetries. We've got what looks like Formica, countertops, stainless steel appliances. Okay, probably that kind of looks like it looks honestly like tile. That looks a little bit big for laminate squares. That looks like big tiles. So bedrooms, molding, probably a, newer appliance fan. That's why I think when you see certain things have been replaced that go out of that kind of like wear over time, you'll kind of identify, okay, this was probably an investment property. So I think that's tile. Bathroom looks in good shape. This looks like a sitting room or something. This looks like kind of like a sunroom. The slanted roof off to the side kind of indicate and like what looks like a boarded up window means that the house this used to be the house like ended right here. So this is an attachment probably from the 80s or 90s. That's a sunroom. Okay. And it looks pretty solid. It's just design, right? So it looks like it has a fireplace available. Looks like it has, I'd be curious about that. Yeah, maybe maybe it might need a little insulation work with the front door. Maybe it looks like they on an investment property or home, if the door needs updated insulation, you'll put these th I forget what they're called, but it's like basically making sure the draft doesn't get through. Okay, looks like new carpeting swept up. This is a a design thing. Little cubby holes, little foot shoe cupboard things. Okay. All right. This is like the upstairs. No, this is the entryway. Yeah, okay. So we're back downstairs. Went from upstairs to downstairs. And now we can see a glimpse of the unfinished basement. Looks like the hardware's probably, they're not newer hardwares. You can even see on the door handle right here. If you zoom in on that, that's probably a 70s. That's probably the original door handle. Come on, man, zoom out. Shoot. Exit. Exit. There we go. I gotta be careful. I gotta be careful zooming in on this. It doesn't want to play ball with me. All right. So here we are. Wow, you can see I always find lumber from that area to be like it. I mean, it was done with longevity in mind, right? It was done with longevity, so it's good. 70s lumber, man, done with, done to last 100 years, 200 years, 300 years. All right. So the center pillars, I would probably personally, and this is just me, I would probably still have a structural engineer come out. Again, because I vote on the side of percentage of error, percentage of error, and I don't want to be within the 3 to 5% that I'm wrong, that something could be problematic. Because this is a 77 build, I would just add that to my home inspection. Always get a home inspection, always. Um, yeah, I think again, this looks like this is that sunroom from the outside. So the house probably ended and they had to redo the vinyl and okay. So it's not a massively big yard, right? It looks like it looks like it has a side yard attached to it. If it's going to be over 4,000 square feet and the house takes up just over like one point so one 1,695 square feet of the 4,011.15, it's going to have a bit of a side yard to it. So you have less backyard, more side yard. So recommendation is if you're going to have any outdoor stuff, you maybe, me personally, I would probably consider putting I'd probably put a fence outside. That's just me. So, and there's an element of the water. No, 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 no. Ah, don't zoom in. Don't zoom. What did I do? Okay, good. So there's an element. I think this is because it's a 70s build. You'll notice on the front left-hand side of the house here, the water meter. So it's, it's just one of those elements because it is a 70s build, there are going to be there are going to be some uh, um, vintage features to the house, such as, what looks like, if I remember correctly, and I've seen these a handful of times, the water meter outside that tallies up your water, right? Your water usage is 70s based. It's not bad, it's just old. So there are certain elements to this house. It's part of that charm, you know what I mean? You still get billed all the same. It's just part of the charm. And it still works just fine. So it's got a good, so it looks like a good foundation. I would still get an inspection done on structural integrity because I want someone to tell me with professional experience, yes, this is good. Displays and structural integrity. Does it display structural integrity? Yes. And when I say good, yeah, good foundation, good structural integrity. Obviously, it's not in the flood zone. We've kind of covered that. It's not sold as is. So that's good. Because it is not sold as is, there is always room for coming to the negotiation table and saying, hey, this or that needs worked on, or hey, we found this thing, and the seller might be willing to budge on something. Um, I didn't see any details about what's the roof. How how new is the roof? The roof, and I don't know how old this picture is, but you might have part of the inspection, depending on who you go with, could take a look at the roof. From this perspective, if this was listed on, if this was listed probably three, let's say it was listed like 3 weeks ago. So, or this picture was taken 3 weeks ago. I got a date, 03/25/25. So this picture was taken 3 weeks ago. That roof looks new, but percentage of error dictates that me personally, I would probably say, hey buddy, get up on the roof and tell me what shape it's in. You know, pictures can be deceiving. That's just me. But it looks like it's in solid shape. Probably, if it's not a new roof, it's probably 3 to 5 years old. Again, roof is one of those things that, as somebody who, I'm looking at the appliances. Where's the one I had seen? Where's the one I had seen? So if you're gonna be putting money into LVP for the floors, you're gonna be putting money into appliances and things that generally wear out. You don't want to be held, you don't want to forget about the roof, right? So I think because this is probably an investor's property, they probably did some work on the roof here in the last few years, if it's not totally new. Reasonable distance from shopping, schools, and town. Well, we know for a fact that let's double check. 353 4th Street. First one to go from Walmart, 353 4th Street. 353 4th Street. Yeah, it's a 4-minute drive, like northwest of the first property. And it's closer to being in the dead center of town. So if I go from Walmart, it's 9 minutes from Walmart. So that's perfectly fine. Where is it in terms of shopping and schools in town? It's right in the dead center of town. So would I buy it and why? Would I buy this house? Yeah, I don't see a problem. I mean, honestly, I don't see a problem with it. I think it's got a very unique charm to it. And, you know, walking around all that. I told you the things I would do to the house, put the fence up. I'd get things inspected just to make sure that they meet specs. I want to be in a structurally safe house. The roof's not going to leak. Things aren't going to be a problem when I move in, or if I buy the property as an investment property, I want to make sure that I, cross my T's and dot my I's and don't have problems. So would I buy this house? Yeah, I'd buy this house. I would. I like it. It's nice.